coverage. 4th and 3. Game on the line. Williams lofting one for a doozy. He caught it! He caught it!
Kamara in at tailback. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns. And now 6. Tied for the most all time.
You're listening to the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen, Matt Hartman, and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Project, where we will be talking about the Patriots and the Jets this week. Not a lot of news to cover, so we will dive into that here in a second. But first off, as always, because, you know, Mr. I don't have a camera is still I don't have a camera.
Even though it was Matt, working, but you guys won't see my face.
No.
He's gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Hands for his face. Chat.
Matt, how are you feeling?
Welcome to the stream. Make sure, if you haven't already, go watch some of the YouTube videos. The Chiefs and the Chargers come out tomorrow and the next day, and then the Raiders and Broncos predictions are already out. So make sure if you've already seen them, go like it so everybody can see it and everybody can trash what we said about their favorite team. But I'm gonna swing the rock to Ben.
Yeah, no. First off, Matt's been killing it on the YouTube, clipping and everything. Short form content is where it's all at. No, I'm doing great. I get tomorrow off. It's gonna be nice to sit around and relax a little bit. But excited to talk ball. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good. One of the things that I really struggle with when it comes to this podcast is just overall, like, my side of things when it comes to connectivity and stuff. I can't multitask very well on this computer. And so if you ever see me lagging or anything like that, it's because I'm clicking over to my notes and trying to do more than one thing at one time. And so that's going to be changing here soon. New PC's on the way. I don't know, Ben, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I've got a little side project going on where I'm streaming video games or whatever. So if you're interested, let me know. But otherwise, excited to talk ball with the boys. I'm not going to plug the nonsense too much, but there's a lot going on in the world right now, and people need a distraction, and I'm excited to provide that for a lot of people. But yes, my biggest thing is this week, given the guy to my right on the screen, I guess, I could do the left head turn, but, Matt, as Ben said, gracias, my friend, for doing all of the hard and heavy lifting for the channel, posting the videos and stuff, cranking it out. And by the way, the dude didn't mention it or anything, but like his team's kind of won.
I was gonna ask. I was gonna say last time we talked, you were a game down. It was 1-2, and now you're up 3-2. How you feeling going into tomorrow?
I think they're gonna do it, but yeah, I'm just like staying away from it. Kind of. The J-Dub 40 bomb was pretty euphoric.
It was fantastic.
It was
Finals MVP J-Dub. Some are saying.
Yeah, some are saying. Some are instigating mostly with like, I don't know if you guys see it, but a lot of LeBron like stands on my feed. I don't know about you guys, but it's a lot of like LeBron stands kind of rage baiting the finals. Like, it doesn't even like matter or anything. I'm like. I kind of like have this like thought is like, if you're a LeBron stan in 2025, are you going to watch basketball when he retires? Because the way they talk online makes me believe they hate basketball. So, but yeah, overall, I'm enjoying the finals. I'm really bummed about the Halliburton news. That sucks because that guy has had an incredible postseason. It makes the Pacers worse, so the Thunder theoretically are better, but we watched quarter 3. TJ McConnell had a little heat check going, so you never know. You got to put him away tomorrow night, and we'll see if that happens.
I'm excited for you, buddy. But I'm also excited to go ahead and get into the show tonight. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Let's get the weekly news out of the way. I'll go ahead and just announce it. Jair Alexander, that bum, signed with the Ravens. And by the way, while we're just on the topic of giving the guy his flowers, Matt called it, man. Completely just, hucked it up.
I have a tweet. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
He's pulling it up.
You see that? You see that? Yeah. June 9th.
Hey, look at the date,
times.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Don't look at the
crazy?
34 views. I could get more, but I'm not giving Elon my money. But yeah, I was right. That was exciting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Pigskin Project guy write about something.
Their
believe that, ladies and
secondary,
gentlemen?
man. Their secondary's awesome, dude.
Oh,
That's not fair.
Nate Wiggins, Marlowe, Jair, Malachi Starks, Kyle Hamilton. It's gonna be absurd. They have no excuses. I hate to say it, but you're out of excuses now. You are out of excuses. Sorry, Ravens fans, but you better at least make a push to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Nah, he's a bum. He's a bum. I have a reason to root against this team now. Jair Alexander, I'm gonna keep it there. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah. My mother told me one time, if there's nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Anyways, so let's go ahead
Why do you
and
talk
dive.
so much.
Anyways, so let's go ahead and dive into it. First off, let's get the Jets out of the way, huh? Let's do that whole conversation, because I don't know. Last night we're talking about whether or not you can use the same letters to spell the letter itself on Twitter. Thanks a lot.
That was today. That was today.
That was last night at 10 p.m. Last night. I'm sitting here.
Wait, 10 p.m. our time?
Yeah.
No, we talked about that today.
We
talked about it
today.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah,
posted
yeah.
it. He posted about it. Or posted about it.
I'm standing on the table for I, by the way. I can be spelled with I because it's its own standalone word, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, he posted it 10:16 p.m. last night. But yeah, spelling W doesn't have a W in it. I came out to DOUBLEYOU. Only letter in the alphabet spelt without using itself. And then he's arguing with people about whether or not Q's in there. But then Matt came in the chat and he's like, bro.
C was the first one that came to mind. But yeah, this is Garrett Wilson. You gotta go check his tweets if you haven't already.
I made the comment in the chat, and just to put it out there, I said that's what playing with Justin Fields does to you. You know what I mean? It's just,
We're at this point in the offseason.
Look at what they did to me as a fan, bro. It's bad. I didn't want Caleb
you don't
Williams.
need Caleb.
Now I've got 2 pictures of him sitting right behind me. It's crazy. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So diving into the Jets, Matt, I'm sure you've got a few pointers, and I didn't forget this week. I'm gonna pull up the schedule though while you talk.
Woo!
Yep. Last year the Jets, Aaron Rodgers traded for Hassan Reddick, who didn't report to camp, did all this nonsense, and then doubled down after a loss to Buffalo on Monday Night Football and traded a 3rd-round pick for Devontae Adams to finish 5-12. Good for the Jets. Their offensive EPA per play was dead 17th, and they were in the negative, but they were negative 1,000th, so 0.001. So they were almost a dead even offense to gaining points in the opposite way. So they were pretty bad on offense, pretty just lackluster. They were the definition of mid. I shouldn't say bad. They were the definition of mid. Their pass block win rate was 23rd. Their run block win rate was 29th. Their defensive EPA per play, that's where the problem came, ironically enough, with how much they've spent, how many good players they had, and how well they performed with Zach Wilson. They were 21st, 0.047 EPA per play, but their pass rush win rate and run stop win rate were both 9th, according to ESPN. And then I get into the quarterback, how they performed last year. So I had to alter this week. I have not had to do that yet. Justin Fields only played 251 snaps. So this is among 40 qualified quarterbacks who played 250 snaps. .107 EPA per play, which was 17th. So Justin Fields in efficiency metric was an above average quarterback. He also adds to the ground game, so that kind of factors in. But his success rate was almost in the dead middle, 21st. I couldn't remember what Aaron Rodgers' was. It was kind of around that range. So they are like kind of seemingly upgrading. And then they get into their offseason, new coaching staff. Aaron Glenn comes in as the head coach from the Lions. Tanner Egstrom follows him from Detroit. And Steve Wilkes comes in where I think the last place he coached was defensive coordinator with the Niners, I believe. And so he comes in, just an overhaul of a staff. And then they kept Jamian Sherwood, off-ball linebacker, 3 years, $45 million, and Alan Lazard and Tony Adams, kind of guys who got a lot of run, got a lot of snaps, but not a big paycheck, just a one-year veteran extension. Now you get into their free agency. Their free agency was pretty tame, except the quarterback. Justin Fields, of course, as I mentioned before, comes in 2 years, $40 million. We talked about it at the time. It's essentially kind of a one-year contract. They slapped a ton of void years on it in case he is good, but that doesn't commit to him long-term. They commit to him for one season, and if he kind of figures it out, then you can extend him, and kind of you have those void year languages already knocked in there, but he has guaranteed money into 2026, which, if I can remember, I mean, we're in June, but the Steelers pursued him. So the Steelers wanted to keep him. I think what set him over the edge to go to the Jets is that he is $10 million guaranteed in 2026 with the Jets. I think that was something he wanted, and maybe the Steelers were not willing to pony up because you look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers only got a one-year contract with the Steelers. So that's interesting. Brandon Stevens, outside cornerback, just a one-for-one replacement. You get worse. Losing DJ Reed, we'll talk about. But they bring in Brandon Stevens from the Ravens, and then just some little, pop shots, one-year guys. Andre Sisco is notable. They paid him $8 million. Syracuse. Josh Reynolds, a wide receiver, outside receiver. I think he was Jacksonville. And then Derek Nottie came in from the Chiefs' interior defensive line. And then their draft was pretty straightforward. Armand Membru at the 7th overall pick. Mason Taylor in the 2nd. Azarie Thomas in the 3rd. I love that player out of Florida State. I think he can play for them very soon. And then Arian Smith in the 4th round, early 4th round. Arian Smith is the prototypical. He's a receiver, but like the one core part of like catching the ball, he's not really good at. Like ask Carson Beck, who's at Miami now. He was not great, but he still went in the 4th round because he runs really fast. That's how the league works. And then you get into their departures and the snap count that goes along with them. Aaron Rodgers, obviously over 1,000 snaps. Devontae Adams, only 615 snaps with the team, but, DJ Reed lose 880. Javon Kinlaw, remember what Javon Kinlaw got $15 million a year? I remember that today because I was doing, prep today. 695 snaps. I thought it was a little less. And then Hassan Reddick, 392 snaps, and then just sprinkling in Morgan Moses, their tackle, who ironically goes to the Patriots, who we'll talk about, 723 snaps, and then Tyler Conklin, their tight end, 806 snaps. But all of those guys seemingly have a direct replacement. Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields, Conklin to Mason Taylor, Javon Kinlaw to Derek Nottie. Just they kind of figured it out, just little movements. And then we get into the last thing before I get into the prediction with you guys is the season outlook question. And I cheated. I did 3 questions because there's not one thing I can pin down with a team that is clearly in a rebuild. But they're in a fascinating rebuild. The number one thing is Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are going to get extensions, and they're going to get extensions for a lot of money. Derek Stingley in the same draft class as Sauce with the similar amount of accolades got $30 million at the beginning of this. So I imagine Sauce's people is asking for $30 million. And then you get into Garrett Wilson's conversation. DK Metcalf just got $33 million for 4 years. I imagine Garrett Wilson also wants that kind of money. So what do those contracts look like? Do they get them done before training camp? Do they try and even get them done before training camp? Do they just let them play? Who knows? But those were 2 guys that are superstars and should likely get extensions coming very, very soon. And then I talked about Justin Fields because you have to. He's He's a very chaotic player who has transcendent plays and moments, but he holds back offenses with his own struggles, playing on time, playing in rhythm. How does that affect the overall, functionality of the Jets offense with a first-time play caller in Tanner Eggstrand, who is coming from Detroit, who was so buttoned up and so coordinated and so on time. If you watch Goff, so many three-step drops, 3 steps, ball out, kind of things like that. And that is where Fields is. He's a problem child. Like, ask Ryan about it. He is not an on-time player, and I don't expect in year 5 it just all of a sudden figures out because he's playing for the Jets. Does Fields' chaos kind of override the offensive flow? Does it hinder the yak ability that Wilson and Brees can give you? Who knows? But again, I said it, like, he's not a quarterback that stops you from getting your next one. That's kind of the path I think the Jets are on, is that they're going to use Fields to get to their next quarterback, and we'll figure it out from there. And then the last thing was, like, just schedule related. Their first 6 games, that's a gauntlet, man. Going to Pittsburgh, playoff team. Home game against Pittsburgh, and a revenge game against Rodgers. Buffalo at home, playoff team. Going to Tampa, playoff team. Going to Miami on Monday Night Football, not a playoff team, but they lost there last year, and Miami the year prior was a playoff team, and they were in the mix last year. Same thing with Dallas. They lost Dak early. And then you got to go to London to face a playoff team in Denver who has a gauntlet of a defense. Could they be 0-6 in that? Unlikely. It's hard to lose 6 football games in the NFL, but if this team's 1-4, could this really derail their team? Could this really derail a season that you're trying to figure out, is Justin Fields a good enough player? You're trying to figure this out. Can we pay Garrett Wilson long term? Are we going to sell on Breece Hall? That's a real thing with steam. Is that could they move Breece Hall at the deadline? Who knows? But let's get into the prediction. I'm rambling too much.
I just want to say really quick. It's interesting that the NFL, regardless of how we feel about this gauntlet, I hate the schedule for them. Like, this is a really rough schedule. We're going to go over it here soon, but the NFL ranks us, just based off of opponent win percentage, but this is the 25th ranked, strength of schedule in the league. So, they've got it easier than majority of the league right now. And to be honest with you, based off of where I think this team is and who they're playing, I want my boy Justin Fields to succeed. I know I joked about it, but this is a rough start for him, man. That's my tidbit.
Yeah, well, and that's what we had talked about when you had kind of mentioned what your season outlook questions was. For me, it's just a matter of what can you get from this offense? Can we see a step forward? Because you have invested in this offensive line with first round picks. Yep. Does Garrett Wilson finally take that step? A good wide receiver. He's not an elite wide receiver. We've been hoping for him to take that step. And again, is all that news with Breece Hall, and is he going to get traded? Is he not? And again, for me, like you said, it's just a matter of, quarterback aside, can this offense kind of congeal as one unit and start to at least show signs that it's going to work? Or are you going to have to pivot and try to make a move? And it's interesting.
The other thing that's weird with this team is that you think of teams like we're going to talk about New England and what they did. New England had no good players. Garrett Wilson's like you said, he's on the cusp of being a superstar receiver. Sauce has proven he is a superstar corner at times. Quinnen Williams is a superstar interior line. There are so many good players along this team, but they went 5-12. Their year before with Rodgers got derailed because of that injury, and who knows what they would have been if he was there prior. It's a weird team. You don't usually see a team fire their entire staff and inherit, a new coaching staff of usually it looks like the Patriots, and you just don't have any players, and you need to figure this all out from ground zero. They're kind of in the middle here going, wait, I just got here and I have to decide if Garrett Wilson's worth $30 million or not? That's kind of where they're at. It's an awkward place to live.
So, do we want to go just row by row? I mean, there's only 2, but
Well, it goes
it's
down.
Do it in
We can do
sections of
fours.
4. Do it in
Yeah.
sections of 4.
I was thinking like
Alright.
4, 4, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do 4-4 bye week update and then 4-4-5. Yeah, I like Ben's
Okay.
idea. Yep.
All right, cool. So, for my first 4, I actually have them losing all 4 of these games.
So do I.
Yep.
As do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next 4, I have them losing all 4 of these games as well.
I have them beating Dallas.
Okay, so
I-
we're
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have them beating Carolina too.
Carolina's on the come up in my book, guys. You know
Yeah,
that.
I know you're high on Carolina, but I'm just. Yeah, that's a quick turnaround after the. Bye week, I would have them 2-6. Wins against Dallas, wins against Carolina, coming off the London trip even.
I have New York thinking about Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, I mean, we all see this like pretty close to one another. I have them losing 3 of the 4. The only victory they get is up, against those Panthers headed into that bye. So at least you have something good to look forward to going into the bye. But I mean, as you said at the top of this, it is just a very, very rough start to the season for this team. And if you go into the bye week 1-7, do you consider already moving on from Justin Fields and trying to pivot? I mean, I don't know what your other options would be at that point. It's not like you can go to Jordan Travis, but like, it just, I don't know. It's going to be rough for him.
Yeah,
Jordan Travis retired.
I know. That's why I said it's not
Oh,
like you
yeah,
can
yeah.
go with Jordan Travis. Yeah.
Tyrod
only-
Taylor
yeah,
is your backup.
Yeah, the only option. Adrian Martinez is on this roster, Nebraska legend.
All right, going up to the next 4, I'm going to have them win against Cleveland in like the most disgusting football game ever, and then lose the rest of those games, the Patriots, Ravens, and Falcons. So that's the first win of the season. It's November 9th. Not great.
Yeah, so I would have them 2-6 at the bye, and then I would have them come out of that with a win against Cleveland and a win on the road against New England, going to 4-6, and then they'll lose to Baltimore, they'll lose to Atlanta, kind of chilling at a 4-8, go into that home stretch.
I'm right there with you, Ryan. I have them beating the Browns coming off of the bye there. But then you're losing the next 3 games to the Patriots, Ravens, and Falcons. And again, it is rough. You have 2 wins 12 weeks into the season at this point. It's going to be rough.
And then finishing it off, I have them. I'm gonna have them win against the Dolphins, lose against the Jaguars. I am gonna have them beat your Saints, and then I'm gonna have them beat the Patriots, but then lose against the Bills. No, I'll have them beat the Bills. Actually, assuming that the Bills have already won the division and have benched their starters.
Just like
a
the
little.
Bills. Just like the Bills had the Joe Milton game happen to them, they're gonna have the Adrian Martinez game happen to them.
I genuinely think that
The Tommy
final
DeVito
push,
game is what it's going to be.
that Dolphins game is going to be weird. For whatever reason, I was going to have the Patriots sweep them. You know what? No, I'll switch it. Patriots are going to sweep them. They're going to win 4 games this year. It's only going to be Cleveland, New Orleans. Wait, what was it? Cleveland, Miami, New Orleans, and Buffalo. And only Buffalo because not because they're better, but just because Buffalo's weird.
Hey, Mr. Diehard Pats fan, stick around for like 5 more minutes. We'll get to the Patriots, I promise.
We'll be right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt?
We get into, so what am I at? Week 14? Yeah, I'm in the beginning of December. I would have them beating Miami at home. I would have them beating Jacksonville on the road. And then I would have them lose out. I would have them lose to the Saints on the road. I would have them lose to New England at home and then lose to Buffalo. So after the bye, they kind of, muster up a 4-5. They'll finish 6-11. This is kind of like this is where FanDuel and DraftKings. I just started doing this, so if you're a fan of the other teams, I'm sorry. I missed your chance to throw in the over under, the shameless over under, but over under 5.5. The over is just a 160. The under is plus 135. We'll see how it ends up. But I have them winning 6 games. I think Aaron Glenn brings them to 6 games. They just come out of the bye and they finish strong.
Mm.
We have some bold takes in the comments,
most
but we're going to
part,
cover that here soon. Yeah.
Yes, which is going to be funny because I think all 3 of us will probably end up being higher on the Patriots and the Patriots fan in the chat. But again, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get to it. Yeah, so this will be the final 5-game stretch for them, and I think this is going to be the best stretch for them. I'm going to have them beat both the Dolphins and the Jags here. The Saints finally pick up a victory. I think this will be the first time where I actually have the Saints actually beating a team. So the Saints are going to win. The Jets are going to win. And then I'll be in the same boat as you, Ryan. I think the Bills are just going to have everything locked up. Tommy DeVito is going to be cut by the Giants, but he's going to stay in New York, and he's just going to, throw for 300 yards against the Bills at this point. And I'm going to have them win. That puts them at 5-12, which is fantastic because Matt has them at 6 wins. I have them at 5, and Ryan, you have them at 4. So we're kind of just bam, bam, bam. But then again,
we all agree. Like
you have
not going anywhere.
Well, and it's rough because what does the 5-12 season get you? We had talked about that season outlook and where does this offense go from here at this point? And 5-12 or even 6-11 at that point isn't going to make you confident. You're not going to end that season and say, yeah, we're going to pay Garrett Wilson $25 million. We're going to sign Breece Hall, and then you have to reset that all again. So it just it's going to be interesting, but at least you're going to be in a position to get, a good quarterback.
I would even say this, when it comes to the whole Garrett Wilson situation, I'll throw a bold take in there. He gets moved at the trade deadline.
Ooh.
I don't think this team. Let me preface this by saying he was already unhappy last year, right? With the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. I think the front office as well. He was a little unhappy, and the thing is like if your starting is heavy on the losing side of things, this dude is not going to want to spend long term. His career here. Because what does that amount to? You know what I mean? Like, sure, he could get a lot of money, but he's just going to be sitting on a mediocre team for his entire career. So at this point, like, my thinking is like, hey, if this is the way that things are going to go, and again, hopefully him and his college teammate Justin Fields end up tearing it up. But, when it's all said and done, I genuinely think that, hey, this guy's going to want out. It's a contract year, so like the team's going to want to even consider maybe moving him. I'm sure offers are going to be rolling in from teams, that are wide receiver needy. And this is a guy that you're going to want on your team if you've got the quarterback situation already figured out. So, it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens here. But yeah, I think that's the bold take. I think they're going to keep Breece Hall for what it's worth. I don't know why that's a thing, but yeah.
Imagine keeping Breece Hall but trading Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
what a move.
My only thing with the Wilson thing is, I think it's going to be hard to get away from Aaron Glenn. I think that guy just oozes like football guy, and I think guys just want to be around him, and everybody gets happier when you're able to put pen to paper. So we'll see. Yeah. Like again, this could. By the time this releases on YouTube, this could be all for naught, and Garrett Wilson signing, $130 million contract for 4 years. But yeah, I get it. If you're in a state of like, well, I see the writing on the wall, and it's just this is not going the way I want it to, get me out of here. It's hard to sell that good of a player when you get them, But I appreciate the bold take.
Hey, gotta throw it in there. All right, so just to wrap it up, I had them at 4-13. Ben had them at 5-12. Matt at 6-11. So Matt was higher on them than both me and Ben. So Moving on to the Patriots schedule prediction. So we've got some bold takes really quick from the comment section before we dive into it. So, diehard Patriots fan saying Drake Maye. Yes, that is your quarterback. Just wanted to point that out. I agree. Yes. He said Patriots are trash. Unfortunately, we're ending with the top 5 pick again. I know my team.
Ending in a top 5
Well,
pick is that's you must not have any hope.
A lot of optimism.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll get into it when it comes to like the prediction, but like you have to be at least happy. I mean, you got Vrabel, Drake Maye. You hope to take the next step. You actually added some pieces. I mean, you'll get into all the pieces that they added here in just a second. Like,
Woof.
I don't know. That's woof. That's just not. I don't know. But Matt, take it away.
Yeah. So last season, this team was 4-13. They were 4th in the division. They missed the playoffs. Obviously, they were 27th in offensive EPA per play. With a negative .081. They were 31st in run block win rate and 32nd in run block win rate, according to ESPN Analytics. And they were also one of the worst defenses in football, which was something I was surprised by. I thought their defense kind of had a puncher's chance, but they traded Judon before the season, like right before the season, and didn't Gonzalez get hurt pretty early? So it kind of just overall, they were punching above their weight limit the entire year. They were 30th in defensive EPA per play. So overall, just not a season you want to swallow, and Mayo was clearly not the guy. Drake Maye was, tied for 24th in EPA per play, negative .007 7 thousandths. Tied for 24th. Can you guys name who the tied for 24th guy was with a negative EPA per play last year?
Oh, God.
It's based on, kind of sacks, based on interceptions. It would be one C.J. Stroud. So that was something that was kind of shocking to me. And Drake Maye had a 17th success rate, 47.5. So that's pretty, standard, average, good, really good for a rookie. Their offseason, of course, Ben mentioned it. New coaching staff, Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, Terrell Williams. I don't recall where Terrell Williams came from. Josh McDaniels, of course, got canned by the Raiders, and Mike Vrabel took a year off. So overall, they got the guy they wanted. Clearly, it was a point of emphasis because Gerard Mayo, of course, is walking off the field with a victory against Buffalo with Joe Milton. And they still fired him like an hour after. Like the second half games were going on that weekend, and we were getting the news. And then you get into their off season. Not many like major keeps. They kept Austin Hooper, Jalen Hawkins, a safety for a veteran minimum, Christian Ellis, an off-ball linebacker. They matched his contract with the Raiders, so 2 years, $13 million for an off-ball linebacker, and then DeMontre Jacobs. They signed for like $1 million. He played a lot of football for them last year. This was fun for me. He was the worst tackle graded on PFF in 2024. 81st and 81st. So that tells you how the tackle play was for a rookie Drake Maye, along with Jalen Polk, who was ranked the lowest receiver. So I just wanted to...
Matt's guy, Jalen Polk.
Yeah, my guy, Diet Roma Dunze. I said that before the draft. I not looking great on that take, but just shows you what Drake Maye had to deal with last year. And then we get into their additions. I texted the chat. I'm not going to mention all of them, but 16 new players coming in from free agency and 11 draft picks. Massive swing from Mike Vrabel, really embodying his team mantra, like I'm bringing my own guys in. And, they sniped Milton Williams from the Eagles. Technically from the Panthers, because, the Panthers were really in on him. And they signed him for 4 years, $104 million. The richest contract in all of free agency this year. Stephon Diggs, a receiver, 30-year-old receiver, coming off an ACL tear, 3 years, $63 million. That's fake money. It's basically a one-year contract with how the guarantees are set up. They can cut him next year and I think actually save money. So that's rare for a 3-year contract to look like that. I think it's just a way to have him under contract if they want to extend him later if he's good. I don't know. Carlton Davis, cornerback from the Lions, 3 years, $54 million. Harold Landry, edge, 3 years, $43 million. Robert Spillane, 3 years, $33 million. Morgan Moses, we mentioned with the Jets, 3 years, $24 million. Garrett Bradbury, a center, 2 years, $9.5 million. Matt Collins, an X-receiver, blocker, 2 years, $8.4 million. Josh Dobbs to be the backup quarterback, 2 years, $8 million. Calevon Chason, an edge rusher from, I believe, Vegas, 1 year, $3 million. Kyrus Tonga, nose tackle, 1 year, $2 million. Jack Gibbons, off-ball linebacker, 1 year, $1.3 million. If I, slow it down a little bit, if I went too fast, that was every player who I just named, including contract. Right now on Ourlads, outside of Josh Dobbs, is listed as a starter on the Patriots. So that's about 11 new starters plus new backup quarterback. An incredible overhaul of just free agency. Just really rare, but they had over $100 million. They needed to spend it. They needed to just get a level of competency for Drake Maye. Now you get into the draft. Very strategic first 2 days. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, helps Drake Maye in the first round. Trevian Henderson, running back in the second round, helps Drake Maye. Kyle Williams, receiver, in the third round out of Wazoo, helps Drake Maye. And then lastly, Jared Wilson, a center out of Georgia, in round 3, helps Drake Maye. And then I just wanted to throw in Braden Swinson from LSU. They got him in the 5th round. He was a really good player. I had him as a top 60 player on my board. So just lobbing that one in there. If he becomes a hit, come back to me. And then their departures, just like little moves. Jonathan Jones has been there a long time. He's been their nickel, 700 snaps. Devon Godshaw, they traded him to my Saints, 680 snaps, interior defensive lineman. Dietrich Wise, an edge rusher, 400 snaps. Jacoby Brissett, of course, played 350 snaps. Joe Milton I included in here. He played 61 snaps, but they were fantastic. 61 snaps. And then just throwing in their long snapper, Joe Cardona, they cut 121
relation
snaps.
To Matt?
And then Jawan, no, not me. And then Jawan Bentley, off-ball linebacker, 61 snaps. Did he retire? I can't remember, but he was a really good player there.
He was good, yeah.
So he's kind of getting hit with the injuries. And then my season outlook question, I don't want to do this with every team, but we have to do it for this team. I don't want to just talk about the quarterback, because we could talk about the quarterback for every team. How is the quarterback going to perform? Well, this team, it makes a lot of sense, because the 2025 Patriots are building their team with high-value free agents and volume draft picks. This is a comparative draft strategy, or a comparative off-season strategy, to the 2024 Titans. A year 2 quarterback, a new coach, we spent a lot of money, we took a lot of, draft picks, and where'd it get you? The number 1 pick, because the quarterback didn't, take a level up. And I know Will Levis is drafted in the 2nd round, Drake Maye's drafted in the top 3. But it's basically, can we band-aid this roster? And in a vacuum, it makes sense. In a vacuum, it's good process. In a vacuum, this guy's going to, the other side of the grass is going to be green, but sometimes it doesn't take that leap, especially in the conference that they're in the AFC with, Burrow and Herbert and Mahomes and Allen and Lamar. And I could keep on going, and it's still a lackluster offensive skill group. You're expecting Kyle Williams to play a really big role. You're expecting a 31-year-old coming off an ACL tear to play a really big role. And their O-line group is still, suspect at best, I believe. Mm-hmm. And, hey, Josh McDaniels back. The guy that has only had real success in this league when coaching Tom Brady. It's just a recipe of intrigue. And I think this season is not about if they reach their win total, which, by the way, on DraftKings is 8.5. All right? They expect this team to be a above 500 team. And I think that's not the way to walk into this season. I think if I'm a Patriots fan, I want to be able to puff my chest out next season and say, we have our guy going into 2026. And whether that looks like we have 5 wins or we have 7 wins, or hell, we surprise everybody and we're winning double-digit games. if you're able to walk into 2026 knowing Drake Maye is your quarterback for the future, that's good enough for me. And that's what I hope they achieve.
Yeah, it's tough. It's difficult. I mean, Matt summed it up. For me, I think the big question is, and it's a question we had, through the course of the entire offseason, not specifically about the Patriots, is Will Campbell. Can you get?
He's just gonna play left tackle, yeah.
Yeah, can you get high level tackle play from Will Campbell? I was in the camp, and I have always been in the camp that you absolutely can. A half inch isn't gonna mean that much of a difference. I mean, I know it is a game of inches, but I do think he has the stuff. He does have the technique to be a very, very good tackle at the league. And I think if you can, as you said, kind of figure out that tackle situation where you don't have the 81st ranked tackle protecting your quarterback, you're going to see that step forward from Drake Maye. As you said, he had 10 interceptions or something this season. If he can not go above that and he can kind of take that step forward with hopefully better weapons, you're happy. You're leaving the season happy. It was kind of the same conversation that we had with you, Ryan, off the air. As long as you see that quarterback take that step forward, you're happy with how the season turned out, despite what the records say in the win-loss column.
I'm pretty excited to get into it. I mean, I just want to say, because I know. Well, first off, let me just say the comments right now. Diehard Pats fans saying Will Campbell is a guard. My opinion. Stephon Diggs coming off ACL. And Drake is a turnover machine as of the moment. Defense is our only hope. And then he also said, Matt, you're spitting right now. There's still a lot of question marks. When it comes to defense being their only hope, guys, we're looking at a schedule right now that is ranked third easiest in the league according to strength of schedule going into this one. So it's going to be really interesting. I say we take it because it's left to right. I say we take it top row, then middle row, and then bottom row just to make it easy on everybody.
I agree. Just complete side note really quickly. If you're a Patriots fan, you have to be so thankful that the Commanders didn't take Gonzo and they were stupid and took Forbes. Imagine how different this defense would look even if you switched those two players out. I mean, we were all shocked at the time, and it turned out to be we were all correct, but you have to be thankful they took Forbes, not Gonzo, because this defense would even look different. But
sometimes groupthink is right.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start us off here. I think they're going to start off with a win, not very high on the Raiders this year. And then they're going to lose in Miami, lose in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to win in Carolina, or I'm sorry, at home against Carolina.
The red is the away. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. At home against Carolina. They're going to lose in Buffalo, and then I think they're going to win against New Orleans. Matt?
I have them, if you check my Raiders prediction, I had them beating the Raiders, so they'll start 1-0, and then they'll lose the next two. They'll lose on the road in Miami. They'll lose to Pittsburgh. They'll beat Carolina. They'll lose on Sunday Night Football to the Bills, and then they'll beat my Saints. So they'll go. We'll start a 3-3 action.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, again, if you guys watch the Raiders video, you guys actually know I'm kind of the flip of these guys. I think the Raiders will actually win this one, and I think the Dolphins will win this one. In division teams, goes to the home team there. But I do have them picking up a win against the Steelers, but then losing those next two against the Panthers and Bills. You're starting off the season 1-4. You're not too happy with how those first 5 weeks go.
Next up for me, let's see. They will beat the Titans, beat the Browns. I will have them beating the Falcons. Side note, hopefully I'll have Sunday ticket again this year, but I absolutely will be watching this game. Falcons Patriots sounds really fun to me for some reason. I don't know. They'll lose against the Bucks. They'll beat the Jets. And then they will lose against the Bengals.
All right, I have them losing back-to-back to Tennessee and Cleveland. And I know a lot of people are like, what are
Mm.
you talking about? Cleveland has to win games somewhere. Like, they cannot go 0-17. So I'm going to sprinkle some little things, like I had the Saints beating the Jets. Like, I'm going to sprinkle in some little, like, Browns and Saints wins here and there, because they can't go 0-17, and they're not going to. Every dog has its day. And then I have them beating Atlanta, losing to Tampa, as mentioned before, losing at home on Thursday Night Football to the Jets, and then losing to Cincinnati. This is where their major stretch of losses come in, going 1-5 in that stretch after a 3-3 start.
Ugh. Yeah, I just realized too as well that I left off the Saints from that top row, so we'll pick up with the Saints here. All of them beating both the Saints and the Titans there, and then the Browns. I think that's a great 3-game get right stretch for them, especially for me when they started off 1-4. You hope you at least go 2-3 in that stretch against those teams. And then I do have them losing the next 2 games against the Bucks and Falcons. Beating the Jets, but then losing to the Bengals here. So you actually started seeing them kind of the opposite of Matt, starting off a little slow, but picking up a little bit of steam as the season goes on.
Next row, I have them beating the Giants, going into the bye week. Man, they've got 8 wins for me, pretty crazy. And with that much needed rest and everything like that, shocker alert, they're gonna beat the Bills. I know. Crazy, I know. But the thing is about the Bills, man, they're destined to slip up from time to time. And I think that, Vrabel can get that done. They're going to lose to the Ravens. Like I said, they're going to sweep the Jets this year. And then, man, this one's fun. I'm going to do it. Screw it. It's the offseason. We're having fun. They're going to beat Miami as well. And with that, again, I will repeat myself. I will stand on this hill and die on it. Your boy has him going 11-6.
Wow.
I have them.
I like the schedule.
I have
Drake
them
May,
beating
Truther.
I have Drake May Truther. I have them beating the Giants. I'll have them 5-8 at the bye week, and then I'll have them losing back-to-back games against teams who are competing for a Super Bowl in the Bills and the Ravens, and then they'll finish beating the Jets, beating the Dolphins, finishing 7-10 for me. I think this is where this team is going to be. I think this is a good hope. Like, this is a good place to be. If we can walk in, to 2026, the year, not like the season, with Drake May, like I said, up at the top, like. If you can buff your chest out as a Pats fan and say, Drake May's our guy at the end of the season, it's a success. And that's all that matters. It's not about winning in 2025.
Absolutely. I have them beating the Jets here. So they go into their super late bye at this point with 6 wins on the season. And then I have them losing these next 2 games against the Bills and Ravens. But then I do have them finishing out the season with 2 wins here against the Jets and Dolphins here, having them go 8-9. So Matt, we see this team very, very similar with each other. And again, as you said, as we both said, again, I think no matter what is in the columns and wins and losses, if you can come out of the season saying Drake May looked better under a actual competent coaching staff, you're going to be pretty excited for what the future holds.
I will say, I'm excited to see how that one pans out. The Patriots are another team to watch for me. It was a little bit of a hidden gem. I was trying to hide that one from you guys a little bit. I know I've said, like, Panthers are the team to watch for me, but, like, Patriots, man. I
their
love
schedule.
The
They have a good
I love their schedule. They've got a good, experienced head coach that at one point in time I was trying to be like, hey, if we don't get Ben Johnson, like, this is who I want.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing. I feel like I'm like full doomer on this team, just like talking the way I think Drake May's really, really good. And I think bringing in competency is going to really, really help him. And if you're like Ryan and you believe they can win 11 games, it's because you believe Drake May is going to take an unforeseen leap to me with a great coach. Whatever I believe in Mike, the guy's a winner. and all those cliches about a coach. The guy clearly wins, and he has the resume to prove it. And he's bringing back an OC who also has won. So there's a lot of things that are alarm bells with me. Like, just I shouldn't side by side compare them to the Tennessee Titans of last year, but those ring some alarm bells. And just what if rebuilding your team through only free agency is a tough like needle to thread. And if they do it, they get all my props. But I think 7-10, honestly, is pretty generous. Even with the schedule they have, I think there's a lot of slip-up potential with, we're looking at teams right now, like Cleveland and Atlanta and Tennessee is one of them, just like looking in the middle of the schedule going, yep, win, check mark. And you're kind of like in a dogfight, and it's 2020 with 2 minutes left. And you're like, oh, man. But we'll see.
It's going to be a tough team to play, in my opinion, but I could see where you guys are coming from. I honestly, like, before this, because literally it's fun to do this with everybody, like, live, just because, like, I talked myself into 2 more wins than what I came into. Like, we're having fun. It's the off season. It's June. Like, you know what I mean? Have fun with it. But, like, I was sitting at that 8-9, 9-8 range for this team. I'm definitely higher on it than you guys are, and I'm okay with that. But, like, it's fun with that.
I saw you. You had a Lee Corso moment. You said F it and threw it through the.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. So, just to wrap it up. But Ben, go for it real quick before.
No, I think it's gonna be a tough team to play from the defensive side of the football. I think they're gonna take another step forward when you look at the pieces that they have and the coach that they have. But man, is that pass catching room just garbage? Yeah. I mean, if a 30-year-old Stephon Diggs coming off an ACL is going to be your number 1 pass catcher, it's not looking too good. And that's the biggest question for me. Like, after the season is done and wrapped up, go and find something. I mean, it just, like you said at the end of the Jets thing, it's a shame that they're in the same division as the Jets, because I think it'd be fun to see a Garrett Wilson on this team, for example. It won't happen.
Exactly where my head's at. To wrap it up, our final predictions for the Patriots. I had them at 11-6. Ben had them at 8-9. Matt had them at 7-10. So thank you guys for tuning into that part. But I just want to say really quick, diehard Pats fan saying Bears are my sleeper team. I think Caleb has a Jaden-esque season. I love you so much. Please subscribe and watch our stuff.
Oh, look at this guy.
Oh, he's good.
Not a big Tyler Shuck believer. All right, man.
Teacher's pet here. He knows the way to your heart. That's for sure.
Great. Yeah, you know. All right. Matt, you want to pull up our next segment?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Matt bamboozled me last week.
All right.
Bamboozled.
Hey, I got the win.
Astray,
a very few and far between win.
Flat out deceived.
So what are we sitting at?
I think we're all 1-1. Because you won right before we stopped doing Weddle. I won 2 weeks ago. Ryan won last week. So I think we're all tied up.
Okay.
Should I be keeping track of this? Should we just mark that?
I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean, we did previously.
Here, it's easy to remember 1-1-1. So
yeah.
Anyone can track it. So yeah.
All right.
This is easy mode for any listeners, so we help each other. We kind of just jog through it. But if you haven't played Weddle, it's a guessing game. It's like Wordle, but Weddle. Eric Weddle. All right. Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Then go for it.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah, well, then who is it?
Shut up.
Wilson. Oh, I saw.
Oh, that would have been a snipe. A wide receiver that wears number 5 in the AFC. I mean, if anyone has any, he's middle aged. I mean, anything standing out to you guys? He's short.
Marquise.
Yeah. I don't know if the age works out, but Yeah, it does.
Is
It
he
does.
Hollywood in this? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Ah.
All right.
Ugh.
You already know. Go ahead and type it in.
Whoa.
You ready?
Come on, baby.
Ready?
Oh!
Hey, 6'6", offensive side of the ball, probably an
Oh.
offensive lineman.
I gotta snipe this.
You absolutely have to. If you do it, this is gonna be
This
ridiculous.
is an AFC lineman who's 6'6".
That's 6'6". Really a whole lot of information here.
Who's kind of older. Offensive lineman. I'm gonna go Dan Moore.
Oh!
Dang.
No, shucks.
Okay.
Shucks. AFC. First. Oh, God. AFC South. Let me kind of rotate the teams that are in this division. I would have said like Will Fries or something, but gone. Yeah, gone.
I think
Gone.
What is that number? So that's got to be a high number. It's got to be high 70s. I think I'm picturing a guy.
The age does not work here, but we're gonna try to limit it out here. Give me Walker Little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew the age wasn't gonna work.
Oh dear God. I could picture.
Oh.
I
Okay.
have a name.
Just
I
throw
have
like
named-
Quentin Nelson in there because I don't know anybody else.
Okay. All right. He is. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's who I.
Yeah,
That's who I was
him.
thinking. But for me, the age threw me off because in my head he's younger. But I had to remember he was a much older prospect coming out of college.
There we go.
Sweet.
It's crazy to me
right.
that he's older than Quentin Nelson, by the way, when you talk about like
Also,
in retrospect to where they were drafted at.
I had another name. I had another name. He's 74. Okay, so I had Cam Robinson also in my head for Houston. So that's
Dude. Anytime
Cam
I see offensive line, I'm like, oh no.
I was thinking Braden Smith. That was kind of that's where my head was at with the Colts. Bernard Ryman again wasn't where my head was at.
Bernard Ryman, tight end.
In my head, he's so much younger. He's not 27 in my head. I felt like he was drafted 2 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah, Brandon Smith was where I was gonna go. So thank you for making me not look stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing comments, guys?
Matt, tomorrow, the prophecy will complete itself.
I hope
The
they
pigs-
win.
The pigskin.
yeah.
Really, you don't want your basketball team to lose?
Well, I've seen some people who were like, oh, I don't want to win in Indiana, but I don't want a game 7. I'm like, oh, well,
Look at this guy. I want our 15 listeners to know Matt is clearly a bandwagon fan. Saints, NC State, Texas fan, OKC, bandwagon. Look at this guy.
What are we doing? Come on.
What are we doing? Bandwagon.
Dude,
No, Matt's not.
Yeah, I gotta bring receipts tomorrow, cause
I know.
I remember in what was it? So I'm kind of on like social media now. I'm debating 17-year-olds now, but like I remember when I was in 8th grade, it was the summer after Katie left, and so I wore my Russ jersey first day of school. Like my mom was like, "Oh, you got this picked out?" Nope. I'm wearing this. I'm wearing my Russ. and since then, I think KD leaving kind of brought me to the Thunder like closer in a way.
Yeah.
And
It does that.
really connected to this basketball team. Just overall.
That's
I
exactly
think
how
the
it was with the
losing
Heat,
last
man.
year. Yeah, I think losing like last year in the way they did, PJ Washington magnet ball, Derrick Jones Jr. magnet ball, and it's like this year it's like this is it. And they earned all of my love and respect for that game 7 against Denver. Because I was a nervous wreck that day before.
Can I just say this really quick? Like, for
Yeah.
your sake, as a result of what you've been through as a Thunder fan and like how long it took to get here, right? I would hope that it's a great game to signify that. As far as like, hey, in a nutshell, you had to fight tooth and nail every single time. Now, like,
Yeah.
some people are like, oh, I hope it's a 40-point blowout. We just win it straight from the jump.
I know
No,
a thing about
I
that.
don't. I mean, like,
F
it's
that.
easier for you.
I want the way I want it is 2022, a few years ago, when Curry's walking up and down Boston's court, just pointing at the ring finger. That's what I want. I want someone like that's what I want it to be over by the third quarter, and just jumping around having a party. But Indiana fights you, they punch you in the face. They're gonna be in the fourth quarter.
Fantastic. Let me tell you, it is a fantastic feeling. Since halftime of that Super Bowl, it was a relief. I had no stress. I walked around and I was like, this is it. But I get your feeling. The amount of times people are like, oh, are you just an Eagles fan because they're good? Shut up. I about cried when we traded Shady McCoy for Kiko Alonso. Don't tell me I'm a freaking bandwagon fan.
Kiko.
But then, second off, this will be the last thing before we round it. I know we had the conversation. After you guys win it tomorrow, where does J-Dub rank? Is he going to be number 3 behind Shea and Russ for you?
I don't know. I don't want to think about that, but I'm there. Like, there was a time a few weeks ago where it's like I mean, you can't be Andre Roberson threes, but like, just overall, like, I don't want to think about all that. Because 2012 is a great example. 2012 was those 3 guys standing there, Harden, Russ, KD, standing there, and all Mike Breen can say on the video is like, they're gonna be back. They never were. So it's like, just signifying the one with this core, with this, coach and things like that is just, it's a monumental step. And so it will be, hopefully it'll be really, really cool. And one last thing, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on Twitter, 3 Cone, who's also a great YouTuber with NBA, he's a Thunder fan, and I've been interacting with him for a long, long time, follows me on Twitter, and he had a video where he was crying in Game 5, and a lot of people were really giving him some slack and really, tearing him down, and I thought that was pretty lame, because that guy is awesome, and I can't imagine what it felt like to be in an arena for Game 5 of the NBA Finals, watching your team like almost close it out. If they win tomorrow, whatever happens to me, I don't know what could happen to me, because like the only championship like one of these teams, and like, yeah, I watched the Cubs win. I'm not a baseball fan, but like, I've never seen one of these like core teams win for me. So hopefully it's pretty cool. Hopefully it happens, and hopefully it's pretty cool, because it's a monumental moment.
I just want to say, I need a thank you note from the following fan bases: the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Florida Panthers. I had futures on both of them, and I cashed out on both of them. And
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm not patient.
I cashed out on my
swear to
Thunder
God, I
bet.
did. I swear to God.
But I was also
I put $25 on both of them.
Man.
It hurts. So, anyways, this has been the Pigskin Project, episode 162. Next week, tune in for the Dolphins and Bills schedule predictions. Pretty excited for that one as well. Tell your friends. Thank you guys for, being active in the chat and everything as well, and comment section again
and
for everything.
Always leave comments. Just always do it.
Please.
And I hope diehard Pats fan was an example for anybody. Anything you kind of post in here, we want to interact, we want to talk about it, we want to just engage with it to grow the fan base and everything like that. And if you want to don't tear into us, but if you want to disagree, I am
Do it.
all here for disagreements and just explaining my side of whatever I'm thinking and just keeping it civil. So,
For sure.
yeah, absolutely. Keep the chats popping.
So yeah, we want to thank everybody for watching. And if you're in YouTube land watching this at a later date, we appreciate it as well. But there's also a few people that we have to thank: Spotify for podcasters, Radio Sports Network, and Uppercuts Grooming for helping us grow as a podcast. And until next time, this has been the Pigskin Project.